other a couple times this year so far, splitting sets. And of course, Mugi, our former world champion, was 4th place last year here at CRL World Finals, making his 4th appearance. And of course, is 4th seeded, so maybe that's just his lucky number.
Did split the difference this year, and interesting choice here from ADRIEL game number 1. And look, we talked about that. Your first time under the big bright lights. Don't go with something that's micro heavy. Go something a little bit more macro based decision making rather than shaky fingers. And we see that here from ADRIEL game 1.
Yeah, I mean, just lean on what is working in the meta right now. All the things here. We got Goblin Giant, we got Sparky, we got Evoed Archers, and the minions people have been talking about a lot because they do a really, really good job countering that little prince.
And all the way in deep, no damage, and a nice little cheeky tombstone high. Will the Rage get the shot? And it does. So pretty much even Stevens here after the first minute of gameplay.
Yeah, Mugi down just a little bit in elixir here, but that's nothing to write home about. It's about a half an elixir as ADRIEL ticks up to 10. And we have, of course, 4 untouched towers. Well, 6, I guess.
Phoenix, you know, I don't know if I anticipated as much Phoenix as we've already seen today, especially outside of Royal Giant.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and we know how much you love the sound that the Phoenix makes, so I think it's honestly just for you.
You're getting trolled by the pros here.
And Goblin Giant Kite here, I really like this. We got good dual lane pressure in. That Sparky's gonna deal well with this bowler coming in, and Mugi gonna have to play some strong defense.
And this is an interesting kind of change here. Mugi, of course, 2021 world champion, running that year with his coach Tight, or with Arimura, excuse me, and then switching things up as of late. So some shifts in the camp for the former world champion.
Yeah, and we could still go a couple directions here. It does start to feel like E-Giant at the top of the screen, but...
And a very slow opening game here. And I really like this from ADRIEL, not just the deck pick, but he's not getting overly aggressive. He's getting good damage, right? He's out in the lead. He's playing calm, playing collected. Now, how does he deal with an E-Giant and Evoed Archers?
Yeah, Fireball coming in right away, so ADRIEL at least has an answer for that. Still gonna take a little bit of damage, but that Dark Prince plus Mini Pekka plus the Sparky on the right-hand side, ADRIEL has decent control of the board.
And the Rage, will it be enough to slide everything through here? Dark Prince gets distracted just enough, but this should be a little bit more chip, and ADRIEL adds to the lead as we are just a few seconds away from sudden death overtime.
And that Tombstone put in work, Rich. It almost felt like that should be towered down, but those skeletons plus that Tombstone did a great job in dealing with the ground and the air troops. Mugi almost getting away with one by having that much HP remaining.
Goblin Giant in front of the Sparky. It does go down. But Dark Prince on the right-hand side requires a little extra attention here. Goblin Giant does not get onto that left-hand tower. So far, so good in this exchange, but Mugi has work to do.
Yeah, this is always a bit of an interesting match. I mean, honestly, 2 of the most popular decks and archetypes in that 20-win challenge, and obviously both these gentlemen picking up that 20-win badge. Almost every competitor here at CRL 2023 has that 20-win badge.
Goblin Giant right-hand side. NATO to pull it all together. Archer going to work from a distance. And here we go. What can Mugi do with the dual lane pressure of the nasty new evolved Archers?
Yeah, those Evo Archers when far enough away are just absolutely devastating. You see right there that Phoenix Egg turning that Dark Prince around, keeps the Evo Archer on the board. Evo Archer on the right-hand side, gonna be ignored. That's what you have to do here for ADRIEL, who needs to put in some work here. Great lightning for Mugi.
Brilliant, brilliant lightning, and just like that, he takes the lead. Just over a minute left. Mugi just barely ahead.
And Barbell comes in for Mugi to take care of that Sparky, surviving with a sliver of HP, but enough to make ADRIEL say goodbye to it.
Slow play into the right-hand side. Goblin Giant plus Sparky. This Dark Prince going opposite lane pretty much the entire time.
The pacing, as you talked about before, from ADRIEL is really, really impressive for someone making their World Finals live stage debut here.
But he can't keep this pacing at this same spot, though, Andrew, because look, 30 seconds left, he's behind, and it's Lightning NATO against Fireball Rage. He has to get something done.
So you see him going high here with the Sparky, hoping that he can get that, I mean, away from that lightning, but still not going to deal it because of those Evoed Archers sniping from across the board, and this might be the push to do it here for Mugi.
the late game heroics for Mugi, and this should be enough. Evo Archers go wild on the right-hand side. Fireball is not gonna do it, and the 2021 world champion opens up his 23 campaign with a win. He is used rather than trying to find openings from cards he used at this stage.
And talking about the numbers, you know, I mentioned in the previous matchup with Faust kind of struggling against that top 16 in terms of the best players in CRL here at World Finals. ADRIEL has an incredibly impressive win rate against a lot of these other guys. You know, it's the same thing you just talked about, you know, having that experience for almost 7 years. And, you know, the win rates, the numbers, they don't lie. You look at that, there's only a difference of 8 matches won between these two, and you would think that Mugi's would maybe be a bit higher, being a former world champion and number 4 in 2022.
So a little more aggressive this time, and here we go. Big sigh from Mugi as he opens up Royal Giant to the right-hand lane. We don't see a ton of Evo Royal Giant these days. Obviously, Royal Giant was the dominant deck choice of the year, got the most wins with the more classic Royal Giant Skelly King deck, but as other Evos became more powerful, the Evo Royal Giant really fell by the wayside.
Yeah, but you know what, man? I do not care. I have said this year after year after year. It is a joy to watch Mugi play RG. The way that he starts to pick apart and anticipate your defense as the game moves on is an incredibly impressive thing, and that's when you got to start thinking. When you're playing against Mugi and he's playing RG, you got to do that Momo effect. You got to change up your defense every single time, because if you start repeating it, if you start getting in that rhythm, he will make you pay for it.
Reaching the midway point of regulation time. So far, a slight, ever so slight lead for ADRIEL. Look at that top left-hand tower, 26-23. Goes to add to it with Miner, and going to the safe spot again, already having confirmed he's not against Tornado. So would love to see ADRIEL begin to vary that as we get deeper into this game.
Excuse me, don't you know who I am?
24-75, 26-87 here. Log coming in, Log Fireball to deal with that Little Prince. And of course, that's one of the biggest gripes about Little Prince not dying to Fireball. Mugi says, I don't want to deal with it.
And that's one of those calculations that ADRIEL has to make there. Do I play the Evo Knight directly on the Royal Giant for the DPS, or do I give it a little bit of walking room to avoid the damage coming in from the Little Prince because of that shield? In this case, made the call to limit damage, and at the moment in a good spot with a chance to defend one more time.
Yeah, he's doing a really great job with his cycle here, making sure he has all the tools he needs, and of course stealing just a little bit of damage wherever he can. That poison on top of the fish boy was you know, something that maybe others might not do, but he's going, I need to take damage where I can, when I can, if you're going to play Minor Poison Control against one of the best RG players in the world.
And now has to DPS. This Fisherman's gonna pull the Knight off the Royal Giant. This could be a big problem for ADRIEL. Can he get back to anything here? Not able to log this back. Not in cycle, gonna take a couple big evolved Royal Giant shots. 3 in, and the lead swings towards Mugi.
And that is not where you want to be. That much HP down when you're playing Minor Control. It really is hard to make up that gap as the game goes on. And the other thing you have to remember is that when we get to Triple Elixir, Mugi is going to have like 4, okay, maybe not 4, 3 Royal Giants in cycle. You know it's going to happen.
Delivery high, trying to cover for the Little Prince as the opposing Guardian gets called out by Mugi.
Mugi has played Royal Giant 23 times this year with a 70% win rate in CRL.
And nice early skeletons there to get ahead of the Miner. No damage in, but the poison will get its value against both that tower and the Fish Boy. With just over a minute left, lead not quite going to tick all the way over to ADRIEL, but he's in the conversation. But what will he do about this dual lane push?
Yeah, I mean, he's doing a really, really exceptional job of using that 3-card cycle to keep up with Mugi's RGs. You want to make sure you can build up that Sim City, and as long as he can keep pace here, and now you see Mugi going, all right, I need to speed up my cycle a little bit. I need to stop taking damage, because we both know Minor Poison, that is going to cause damage. Mugi needing to get another RG on tower, it becomes really, really difficult if ADRIEL can just keep getting these bomb towers down.
And can he continue to abuse this 3-card cycle that does favor him ever so slightly with getting Minors and Poisons on the board? And this is what he really wants more than anything, is how long can you keep that Little Prince on the board in these final 30 seconds?
Yeah, you know, and the other thing that ADRIEL has been doing so well, Rich, is he's been sending the Miner to the safe spot over and over and over, because he's waiting. Mugi is going, you have to change this up eventually, and he hasn't been doing it. Evo RG at the bridge, no bomb tower in cycle yet.
Oh boy. Oh, boy.
Did he get the push? He did get the push.
One shot in, 2-11. Poison down, opposite direction. Fireball will be available for
That's
Mugi.
it.
Now Miner
Miner
goes
to
the
the
other way. Miner gets on. Can it do enough? No, it will not. Mugi wins this one by a hair.